Wrestling. Now, before I get started, I want to say this. I didn't get a chance to see United We Stand. I'm going to watch it this weekend, before WrestleMania. So, if anybody wants me to do a review of it, please leave a comment below, because I am considering doing a review. But, what's going on that I haven't seen TakeOver yet, and I thought of doing a review of it, but I can't do all that. United We Stand, I am considering doing a review. If no one says anything, if I really think the show's really good, I may do a review of it. There's no way I'm probably going to do a review of Major League Wrestling. I've been doing it for a while. No one's really missed it. So, and the Hall of Fame for the WWE. That's a lot. Along with WrestleMania, which is being 8 hours. That is too much. That will really freak me out because my anxiety gets me. So, I have to really plan what I'm going to record and watch. So if you guys do want me to do a review of United We Stand, please tell me below. Now I got that done. Let's look at this show for what it was. And it felt like an old adage. Cats and dogs living together, mass hysteria. That kind of felt like what this show was. It made, what sense are we looking at? This makes no sense. This is crazy. That's kind of what I felt in this show. It wasn't a bad show. I'm saying it now. It was not a bad show, but it was kind of crazy. A lot was going on. First thing I really want to get rid of right now is Melissa Santos' work on Twitch live stream. I don't want to wait. I got to say it. I'm not hating her. I can understand as the interviewer on Impact. She probably has extra jobs. Along with being a mother, because we heard her kid in the background. She's Brian Cage's probably wife. If it's not his girlfriend, it's got to be his wife. And if they are married, happy to them. And I'm sure she has other duties going into Impact. But she badly needs, and I say this clearly, as someone who's done YouTube near 7 years now, it's not easy making these videos. If you mess up, sometimes you got to start over. Or you got to cut and paste stuff together. When it comes to her, she is live with about 5,000 to 6,000 people watching the stream at a time. Maybe 10, maybe 15,000 at one point. Went up to 15,000 people. And they're wrestling fans. They'll deal with stuff. But when you're really doing the primary work for Impact on this live stream, you need, and I'm saying this clearly, need experience. She needs to start doing live streams on YouTube to get some practice, or she needs to get a Twitch account. She doesn't have to play games. And even if it's 10 people watching her, or she's watching herself, she needs to learn, 1, how to make sure her audio is not off. 2, she needs to learn how to set the audio amplification, because her mic constantly clips so bad, you can't hear her. 3, and the most stupidest thing, and I understand if she's not experienced very well, but she's been doing this for months. Can't you notice that your cursor, and this is in my face, the cursor is legitimately in or near the middle of the screen. And this happened all the way up to an hour and 10 minutes, to an hour and 15 minutes. Each time she came on screen, if her audio didn't clip, that cursor was in the screen. And there were a few people in the chat saying, hey, your cursor's in the screen, but she didn't pay attention to that. She just kept going on with what she was saying. Now understand, there's a lot of people. I'm dyslexic. I can't do a live stream by myself. I have to have someone by my side to read any of the comments because of my dyslexia. I can't read that quick. But I'm sure she's not dyslexic. And I'm sure she probably saw it, even though comments can go fast. So she needs practice working a live stream. Someone has to tell her, look, honey, the people love you, but they notice you need practice when you're not doing this live stream. And I know I just devoted almost 4 minutes to this, or 3 minutes to this, but I had to say it. I had to say this. Now let's get to the show. Okay, the opening of the show was like a tornado match. You got 6 guys there. And the person that meant the most to me was Petey Williams. Now, of course, Ace Austin was there, and he did a nasty thing. He had like a card in his trunks, and he took it and put it between the fingers of a Petey Williams and raked it to try and cut his skin. That was interesting. The match was great. You got, what is it? Aiden, what was the guy's name? Aiden Prince, who really looks like a good wrestler. But I was kind of surprised that Petey Williams won the match instead of Ace Austin, who they've been pushing. I know he was a hometown boy. You don't always get that. No. You don't always get the hometown boy winning. But in this case, Petey Williams won. But then why would you do that to Ace Austin, who actually needs to win? He did. So the next thing was, Rick Swan and Willie Mack versus, what was the guy's name? Mad Dog Fulton. And this hurts me when it comes to Sami Callihan and Rich Swann. It could have been so much better. And instead of having Rick Swann actually go to Sami on his side and destroy Willie Mack, who, two things. One, this would make sense story-wise. And two, Willie Mack is extremely good in the ring. But I know 100% that if he went to the WWE, he would be booked well in NXT and he would be destroyed on the main roster because they would never accept someone that heavy in size running around like he is. They would not accept it. They did it with Bray Wyatt. I don't see Willie Mack getting it. I just don't. But the match was good and the heels won. But then it's like, I don't care about this. And then Tommy Dreamer comes out again to save both these guys. And I'm talking about Willie Mack and Rick Swann. What do you actually gain with this? It makes no sense. It would have been better if Rick Swann had turned against Willie Mack and then Tommy Dreamer works with Willie Mack to try and turn Rich back to the light side instead of being to the dark side, or at least to go up against him. That would make sense. It just doesn't make any sense here. Here's another thing that was ridiculously cats and dogs living together mass hysteria. Falaba versus Raju with Gama Zing and his son. I keep forgetting his first name. I just keep forgetting it. Basically at ringside. The match was okay. It was alright. It looked like, you guys tell me below if Falaba looked like he did lose some weight. Because he does look a bit different. I don't know what it is. He still looks the same. Maybe it was less facial hair. I don't know. But in the end, you got Raju basically winning by cheating. It's in my face. And you think that's the end of it? You really think it's over? No. And I'm going, after it was over, I'm thinking, this makes no sense. Why is this match even existing? They usually do good matches. What was the point of this? And then she's in my face. My baby's in my face. Scarlett Bordeaux is in my face. If this woman existed in my life, she would be sitting by my side right now. In real life, a real person, sitting by my side watching me. I'll be waving at her hi, even while I'm doing the video. And eventually, if it's about 10 minutes, I will cut it short just to go be with her. That's how much I will love her. But she comes out. She defends Falaba. Those guys say, get the hell out of our ring. Get out of our ring, woman. And Falaba destroys them after being basically beaten. And then you see her helping Falaba and then rubbing her face into their, rubbing her butt cheek face into their faces. I don't have a shot of that. I don't think I got it. I'll see if I can get it from YouTube. But if I didn't get it, sorry guys. And then she gets onto Falaba's back, which makes it sound like she's going to be working with Falaba. Now, this could go one of two ways. She's doing this to go up against men and show them that she can be just as good as them. Or she's now working with Falaba and becoming her manager because KM is not there. I think KM is actually hurt. I'm not sure. You guys can tell me below. Andre, if you see my video, tell me if KM is actually hurt or he didn't re-sign with Impact or something other than something else. Maybe he wasn't able to show up because of something. I would like to know what happened to KM. I do like KM. But is she working as his manager? Is this a one-time thing? I don't know. You guys tell me below. This is cats and dogs living together, mass hysteria. This should have been happening months ago. Let's move on to Rosemary. Showing scenes of what happened last week. I gotta say this. This, I think, was the most meaningful segment, video package that she's done. Talking about how Bunny didn't understand what was going on. How the Firefly, in other words, a Kira Hogan, didn't understand what was going on. And that the ones that she cared about, her, the one who ran the realm, and Father Mitchell, dealing with him, how all of this was unfair and how my bunny has been taken away. And I'm going to make them pay. This is the most meaningful thing you could have at this moment for Rosemary. But the question's going to be, what now? Is she going after Father Mitchell? Is she going after Sue Young, which would make the most sense? Is she going to have a grudge against Kira Hogan? Is Kira Hogan going to be the new bunny? It's very hard to say where she's going to be going, in what direction. Is she going to be a loner? Is she going to work with Kira Hogan? Which, honestly, no. I do not see Rosemary working with Kira Hogan. I really believe that, yes, she will show up. Once in a while, she'll help her, but she will keep her at an arm's length because she does not want to see what happened to Bunny, Allie, to Kira Hogan, Firefly. Just don't see it happening. But who knows? Next, the Gail Kim video package. Now, I'm not against them really booking Gail Kim. She is a legend. She worked in WWE. She worked in ROH, I believe. She definitely worked in Impact Wrestling. I don't know if she worked in New Japan Pro Wrestling. I know, if I remember correctly, she did work in Mexico, and I think she worked in AAA. I could be wrong. You guys can tell me below. But she's worked practically everywhere. She's well known and she's well respected. But this means nothing if she does not job to Tessa Blanchard. I'm being honest here. When it comes down to it, Tessa Blanchard must win the match at Rebellion. That's the next pay-per-view. She must win it. This is about getting her over. This is not about Gail Kim getting over. If it is, this is a waste of time. Gail Kim does not need to get over, particularly if this is her leading up to getting the title again. She's already a 7-time champion. She doesn't need another title reign. We need new fresh blood in Impact to make them mean something. That's just the way I see it. Now, Tessa did a good job talking as well. And Melissa really felt really cringy when she kept looking back at the screen. She shouldn't have kept looking back at the camera. She should have just kept looking at Tessa once in a while. Maybe once in a while, look back. She kept looking back a lot, which really took away from Tessa. I don't want to look at Melissa looking back at the screen. I want to see Tessa looking at the screen. She's an afterthought. She's the reviewer. The interviewer. She's not the one that's supposed to be the emphasis here. So she hasn't done very good when it came to that. But that's just me. Let's see here. Jordynne Grace versus Madison Rayne. Now, the only reason I'm bringing this up about the interview when it came to Taya was because all the women were there, and it's basically stated that if one of you beat each other, you'll be the #1 contender going into Rebellion. I don't really want to mention much about Taya because she's really tied into her husband. She really is. Yes, he helped her at the end of the match, which I'll get to in a moment. But I'm not going to really talk that much about Taya because there's no real point in it. We need someone legitimate to go up against her. Now, since Madison Rayne is back, she now went up against Jordynne Grace. And I'm going to say this to anyone who's not a Madison Rayne fan. And I'm not a major Madison Rayne fan. I will say this about Madison Rayne. I never liked her a lot. But I will say that at least as a mid-card wrestler, because she's not a bad wrestler. She doesn't do bad promos 100%, and she's not a bad wrestler. You guys think she's a piece of garbage? If she was a piece of garbage, she wouldn't have pulled out a sleeper She wouldn't have pulled out Inseguri. She wouldn't have done most moves that you would normally not see her do. So if you think the woman doesn't have some skill, she actually does. Is she a great character? No. She's an okay character when she's a heel. She's more or less of a character as a face. She's more better as a heel than a face. She's a good, okay heel. And then she's very bland as a face. But you cannot say that she can't wrestle. Because she can wrestle. The woman does have skill. And by the end of the match, you got Jordynne Grace. And it was a pretty competitive match. Jordynne Grace winning the match. And I gotta say this about Jordynne Grace. And I think someone made a mistake with her. For the simple reason the woman's wearing makeup now. Jordynne Grace, or Jordynne Grace, really doesn't need makeup. She's a more natural looking woman. Having lipstick and foundation, wherever she had on her face, really takes away from who she really is. If anyone could tell her, say, look, honey, you don't need to do yourself up. You are good as you were. Be who you are. You're a natural muscle woman. And maybe she might be the next Big Papa Pump, but she still reminds me of Rhino as someone who can get the job done. She's not flashy. She's will nail your ass. That's why I call her the next female Rhino. She's not someone that's flashy. She just destroys. Now, after she won the match, Taya does come out and destroys her. With Johnny coming out. I really thought Johnny was going to do the flip on her. But you got Brian Cage coming out to save her. And now you got two of the power-hungry destroyers now going to have a match, I think, next week against Johnny and Tessa. Now, why am I saying Tessa? Taya. I don't know why I'm thinking of Tessa and Taya. I guess something might happen with Taya and Tessa. Something, some type of interaction. I don't know what. I'm thinking this. Yes, Taya is dealing with Jordynne Grace. But I have this feeling that Tessa and her will meet sooner or later. While Gail Kim is in this situation. It just feels like there's going to be something between the three. That's the reason why I'm thinking it. But that's just me. You guys tell me below. Now, you guys tell me this. Do you like the Rascals? You can honestly say below. If you like them, if you don't like them. But if you do like them, explain this to me. How come they're being bullied by Moose? Moose, who should be doing something more substantial, is now bullying and messing with the Rascals. And honestly, yeah, he got a beautiful woman by his side, but what does this really give us? This is where this mass hysteria comes in. Why is a blue chipper like Moose dealing with 3 X Division guys who are being treated like jobbers? And if anyone who likes the Rascals say they're not being jobbed out, they are. When was the last time you saw them do anything major? When was the last time you saw them do anything major for a title? You haven't. They have jobbed. Yes, they won a couple of matches between all 3 of them. But when have they gone after the major title? When have they done anything substantial? 0. I'm sorry. No matter how much you may like the Rascals, by them being messed with by Moose, and next week, I think it's, well, I don't even remember who it is, Trey or somebody, going to be beaten up by Moose in a match, 100% shows you they don't care about the Rascals. The Rascals are a joke. It doesn't matter how talented all 3 of them are. Trey is the second most talented. Dez is the most talented there. Desmond Xavier, I believe, is the most talented one there. Trey is second. And the other guy is third. I don't care what anyone says. If they're having a feud with Moose where he's bullying them, shows they don't care. Let's move on. Oh yeah, the Deaners. If I'm pronouncing, what is it? Deaniers. What is the Deaniers? I gotta say this. They're in my face. It made me feel like Hillbilly Jim If anybody remembers who Hillbilly Jim is, I may put a picture of him. And I'll put him right with those two. They remind me of Hillbilly Jim. That's what that is. That is a bite off of Hillbilly Jim. And that's funny that they got contracts. One of them saying, what do we do with these? He says, we sign them. But wait, I don't have a pen. Don't worry. I got a pen. Yeah, I got a pen. But guess what? Shouldn't we sign these and read them before we sign them? He says, don't think. I do the thinking. Sign it. That just shows you they're doing the hillbilly angle. Now, is it funny? Yes. Is it stereotyping? Yes. But there's nothing wrong with stereotyping. There isn't. Sometimes stereotyping can be funny and can work. Other times it can be cringy and garbage. But in this case, it's funny. But I do not know how far this is going to go. And it can easily go from funny haha to cringe, and from 0 to 60. Within one episode of Impact, this could go from 0 to 60. So we got a lot to wait and see. Now, let's see, what else am I forgetting here? If I'm forgetting anything, no, follow blah. On the bid pack. Okay, Eli Drake and Eddie Edwards versus LAX. Now, LAX got their match going into Rebellion. And when you see the video, before the match, well before the match, when you see that, Ortiz says, you know, we need to do something. This ain't right. And then Santana says, why are you saying this ain't right? They're the ones that mess with us. And then Conan tones in saying, you guys started this, but they messed it up and finished it and insulted me. They gotta be destroyed. This is where the cats and dogs come into play. I'm not going to use this as a title, Cats and Dogs, but you see what I was saying. This makes no sense. Why would Ortiz say that this doesn't feel right? Santana says they need to be destroyed. And then when it comes to Conan saying simply, they deserve to be destroyed because they insulted me, not you guys. It just makes no sense. Why couldn't they just set this up where Santana and Ortiz had a beef against Pentagon Jr. and Phoenix? And then Conan had to choose between the two teams. That would have given us more drama, more spectacle. That would have made how Conan, who is in the center of this, because supposedly he's been insulted by the Lucha Brothers, this would have made his segment a lot more important. As it stands, I don't care. Now, the match itself. When we had the match itself, well, before the match, you got Eli Drake pissing off Conan, and Conan punching Eli Drake in the face when Eli was going to try and hit him. And then the ref decides to eject Conan from being at ringside. Now, was the match good? Yes, it was good. By the end of it, you got the Lucha Brothers coming out, interfering, and Eli Drake and Eddie Edwards win. And then the Lucha Brothers come out they get out of the ring, get a table, put Santana through it, and then beat the crap out of Ortiz. And they're standing tall. This makes me feel that at Rebellion it could be a triple threat. Doesn't mean it will be in the Full Metal Mayhem match, but it kind of makes me think that. Because honestly, this feud as it stands, going for the title between LAX and Lucha Brothers really makes no sense to me. This should be about family, not about the damn title now. This should have been about who Conan was supposed to pick, and it's not. So the title really feels redundant at this point. That's why I think, and I could be wrong, that because Eli Drake and Eddie won, they're going to go into a Full Metal Mayhem match at Rebellion. Because they earned the right to go up against the Lucha Brothers because they've gone up against the number one contenders and beat them. This is just how I feel about it. But this is my thoughts. You guys tell me below. I got a sore throat. Have a good day. Have a good night. And I just wish to say, if I'm still red by the end of this video, I could not adjust because my camera's been acting up again. As you already know, this camera, which is an old 2012 camera, has served me well, but it's acting stupid. If I can't adjust the redness in post, I'm sorry. Have a good day. Have a good night. Peace!